good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you may be viewing this from. Welcome to WOW Workout Wednesday, episode number 2. Actually, episode number 3. So today we are going to cover upper body, and I had a question this morning. Can I do some short upper body? So upper body, and today everything is on the ground. I have covered in my sessions if you're only able to sit with your feet on the machine and you're in a stool. There are ways to get the upper body going. Today is about fitness, so for those who are able to get down on the ground, get themselves back up, and are working upper body exercises. Some of you are very active. We're going to do a few variations on a push-up today, and I'm going to show you how to target different upper body areas. But there's a real trick with upper body and minimizing the amount of vibration to the head while maximizing the benefits to your upper body. So if you have not done a push-up in quite some time, and if back in the day you did them poorly, a push-up is one of those positions, just like I talk with squats. It's a good foundational basic exercise, and the sooner you learn how to do it properly and utilize it in this environment, the quicker you're going to see those results and the quicker you're going to be done, quite honestly. Okay, so for upper body, the biggest thing, just like when you're standing, the distance between your hands determines how much we're moving. I'm going to get my machine going. I would suggest for fitness, probably starting out a mid-speed on a push-up. I'm going to go a little slower so you can see my movement on camera. And depending on how your knees are, if you need a pad, a mat, I'm on a foam floor, so it's not as unkind on the knees. What I want you to do is have your lower body bear the majority of the weight. This is a modified push-up. We've covered this before. Bring your hands, somewhat the distance of your shoulders apart. And the big trick with upper body, if you're looking straight down at your hands, you're going to get the most head vibration. So you want to unbend at the hips, push that body just slightly forward to get the hand in line with the shoulder. And you'll feel the transition of that stimulation leave the head and go towards the neck and the shoulders. The trick here is not to resist or fight it. As women, we carry the tension, the bra, the purse, all that in the upper body. For a lot of my guys, it's just office work and heavy lifting. So we have a tendency to want to guard and protect that upper body when the stimulation gets near the head and the neck. So just kind of relax, hold a good position. Don't, be all slouchy. Hold a nice straight spine. And if we're looking at more of a fitness result, back those knees up a little bit so that your body's bearing a bit more weight. The longer your body gets, the more gravity is pressing down on you and the heavier you are in this environment. So you just want to hold a good position to start with. If you're dealing with frozen shoulder, torn shoulder, elbow, wrist, all kinds of issues, sometimes push-ups are hard. So don't take on more weight than your upper body needs to bear. Okay, just get used to how it feels, get some control on the plate before you take on a lot of difficulty in your pose. For those of you who are doing push-ups now that would like to progress to something more challenging, keep your move static, so we're not needing to move at this point. Line those shoulders up over the hands and progress to the toes. Now, you may not be able to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute, but you could do a combination. Maybe you're coming up for, 5-10 seconds and you feel like you're going to poop out. Well, come down. You can still continue on your knees. The goal with fitness is to push to fatigue. That's what's going to change the body. That's what's going to make you strong. But it doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way every day, all day. Modify based on how you're feeling. And pay attention to those deficiencies. So if you do have a shoulder or an elbow or a hand issue and you're up here and you're okay for 5 or 10 seconds before that starts giving you pain, then maybe that's your quit point. Listen to your joints, the hypermobility, all those things that you're dealing with. The next variation I want to show you, so in your basic push-up, you're kind of looking like this when you're on the machine. The next variation I want you to do is draw those elbows in towards your sides, your ribs, up against the girls. And what that's going to do, by changing the angle of our arms, we're going to target the bat wings, the back of the arm, that secondary muscle. So your bicep is your power, that's your strength. This is kind of that stabilizing muscle. And we don't always pay a lot of attention to it. And exercises related to this, they're hard. So I'm not a big fan of tricep dips unless you do them regularly. I do have wonderful shoulders on the right side. So for me, I can do them, but I can get just as much effect in modifying my push-up to target those triceps versus doing a separate exercise. So that first exercise, if you were able to do your toes a minute, if you're not fatiguing after a minute, make it harder. So before we get to the tricep dip, one variation I wanted to show you. So if you are fit and you're an active chick and a minute in you're not fatigued, you can add some dynamic movement. But if you want a bit more of a weight loss or a cardio effect, I showed you some options with your planks last week. There's all kinds of dynamic movement. When your upper body gets on this machine, kind of raises you up off the ground a little bit more, so you can do some whatever dynamic variations you'd like to play with. So for the back of the arms, same basic body position. Get to start most of the weight on the lower body so you can push away. Draw those elbows in. Again, your hands are in line with the shoulders, not the head. Come back. Just start like this until you sort of feel it in the back of that muscle. Bring the hands a little closer if it's too intense. Okay, and then if you want more intensity, back the knees up, reposition, and you'll feel as you bear more weight, it's harder on those back muscles, on the back of the arms. If you are able to do a full push-up, you should be able to do this variation depending on the elbows and the shoulders. So pull it in and come up to the toes. And you'll feel those muscles engaged. Okay? So that's two variations on a push-up. The third that I want to show you today is kind of what I call a shoulder press. So most of the exercise in the push-up position, this platform, whole body vibration, is a very good push activity for those of you that work with trainers or are trainers. It's not the best pull activity. So sometimes when we're trying to target upper body, depending on your strength and your angles, you may not feel as much effect in the shoulders and the neck on the strengthening side. So if you've been using your machine for a while and you have tolerance, there's no issues with vibration to the head. It's how we guard and protect and resist and stop breathing that sometimes causes us a challenge when we're doing upper body positions. But with upper body, you want to make sure you kind of quit just before fatigue. I want to make sure you're not doing a face plant. With a shoulder press, the key is it's very similar to a push-up, but we're going to try and get our glutes higher than our upper body so that our weight is coming down into the machine and the shoulders are the support. So we're kind of standing close, depending on your range of motion. Okay, if you can straighten your legs, we're going to just push so that our bum is just slightly higher than our shoulders. Shoulders are above the hands, and you can do the same variations. So this is your basic. If you want to target more tricep, pull the elbows in. Basic, triceps. Now this one, make sure that you're breathing. Again, the neck is just kind of relaxed. You're not fighting and resisting, but if you do have shoulder issues or bursitis, things like that, that one entails a little bit of range of motion, but on that one, 30 seconds to a minute. If you are not fatiguing, bend the elbows a little bit more, widen your hand positioning a little bit, but you should be pooping out in 30 seconds even if you're fit on that one. So just a quick review. If you're just starting out push-ups for the first time, we want to make sure our hands are no more than our shoulder width apart. If it's too intense, we bring them closer. We want to make sure that when we position our body over the machine, the majority of the weight's on the lower body, we're going to put those hands in line with the shoulders, not the head, to reduce the head vibration. If this is easy peasy, this could just be a wellness position. We want to call this fitness because it's Workout Wednesday. So we're going to back up those knees, push our body forward, and tuck that core in, engage those abs. I don't want you looking like this, okay? If you've got game, if you're doing push-ups on the ground now and are able, maximum body weight. And if you're working with weights or have weight vests, any of those things that you do with your push-ups on the floor can be done on the machine. I just want to make sure your technique is solid before you get into these type of positions. Okay? The last variation is going to be that shoulder press. So we're a minute on if you wanted to call it a warm-up. We could do a variation on those triceps. Come up here. Obviously, you're not going to last as long in your second round, but I'd love to see 30 seconds on this one. And then if you're comfortable, instead of like stopping and repositioning, the third one was the shoulder press. So we're going to come over top. Those shoulders are in line with the hands. Relax. Make sure you're breathing. Elbows are bent. You want more tricep? Pull those elbows in. This one's a little tough on the wrists. Okay. So upper body, those three positions I just showed you could be added on to your regular leg stuff if you're doing that kind of thing. I find by exercising my upper body, my tendonitis and my shoulder and all my self-inflicted repetitive injuries, they feel better. Pushing to fatigue is what I would say is the difference between fitness and feel good. You should feel like you're out of breath. You should feel a little bit sticky and sweaty. And if it's easier for you, if you are dealing with hypermobility, pain in the joints, you could do a lot of little reps. So do each of the exercises twice, but maybe for 15 to 30 seconds. For those of you that have the stability, you built up to it a bit, pushing 30 seconds to a minute should be comfortable for you. If you're not fatiguing after a minute, make the position itself more challenging. Add some dynamic movement. Your body's adapted to what you're doing. And then the easiest adjustment is playing with your speeds, your levels, your frequency. Change it up. Don't keep doing the same speeds all the time. Change your hand positions. Every little change just kind of keeps those muscles confused and those changes progressing. I hope these tips have helped you. 3 moves, and if you have any questions, please post in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those in a timely manner. Have a great day, and don't work too hard on your Wednesday.